is, and what were some of the things maybe that you weren't so happy about, you think will kind of be better now that you have Cody, Gordon, and Devonte back the second time around against the Kings team?
Well, I thought we were resilient. The group obviously kept battling. We were fortunate last game. They played well. They outplayed us for most of that game. So we got to be better tonight. Bottom line, we got to be better, especially on the defensive end. I thought we were really poor defensively. Now, you could call it we were shorthanded. We had guys missing. We were small. They're a big team. They play big with Barnes at the 3 and then their 2 bigs. We were pretty small last game. I think having Gordon back, having Cody back, having more depth will allow us to play a little bit bigger and handle their size, especially in the paint area. But overall, we got to be better, especially on the defensive end. I thought, our offense bailed us out last game. But this is a good offense. We're going to have to sit down and guard tonight. I expect our guys to be much better on the defensive end.
Thank you.
Richard Walker.
Coach Borrego, obviously it's taken a while to get over 500. You're now sitting there at 19-18. How much of an accomplishment is that you feel? And I guess the next question is, how do you handle that success? Because that's the next step in this development of this program.
Yeah, we're not throwing parties over here, patting each other on the back for being over 500. This has to be this has to become the norm, that we just play good basketball, that we're winning more than we're losing. And we put ourselves in a strong position now. The goal, the challenge right now is to keep that momentum going and keep, playing good, consistent basketball. And it really comes down to your habits, your habits every day in practice, your habits throughout the game, trusting each other, continuing to play hard. I think we play hard in general, no matter who we're playing. Now we got to execute and focus at a higher level, especially on the defensive end, if we want to win more consistently. Teams that win consistently, they find themselves above 500 every single year, and that's the goal for our group.
Rick, go ahead.
Hey, JB, with you guys having 5 players in your rotation who have never been in a playoff game before, if the regular season resulted in you guys getting into a 7-game series, what sort of developmental value would that have going forward?
Man, Rick, you're pushing. We're getting ahead here, but look, I think I love the fact that we've put ourselves in this position to be talking about what we're talking about. We got a long way to go, obviously. It's gonna take some effort. There's a lot that has to happen here for us to get to that position. Having said that, to answer your question, there's nothing like the experience of a playoff series. There's nothing like it. The level, the focus, the attention to detail, it really accelerates your development as a team, as individuals. And I think it's a couple things, just the focus on what you have to do to win in the playoffs. I think, that carries over to the next season. And then there's just sort of this belief and attitude and, focus that we're going to be here every single time, nothing less than the playoffs. It really accelerates your belief and the validation of what you're doing. So it's a little bit of the experience of in the series, but also the mentality of this is what we are now. This is our standard now. This is where we belong every single year, not just once in a while. We belong here every single year, and that's the mentality. So it's a little bit of both for me, and hopefully we're there, but we got a long way to go.
Is it fair to say, Kemba used to talk about this, that he would hear all these stories about how different playoff experience is from the regular season. And he said it kind of became like, you'd rolled your eyes, and then he'd actually experienced it. And he realized that wasn't any sort of exaggeration at all, that it's a dramatically different thing. Would you tend to agree that experiencing those things is dramatically different than anything you could do to just talk about this hypothetically?
Yeah, there's no – you can't replicate what happens in a playoff series right now. You can't – there's not much you can do here to show your guys or experience the level and the atmosphere, the competition, the strategy that goes into a playoff series. You just have to experience it. And the goal is to get there. You can have moments along the way. I think we're trying to get there. But to actually feel that, there's no way to replicate that for our guys. You just have to go through it. So, that's the goal. We said, let's put ourselves in position, and we want to play meaningful basketball come April. That's the goal. I hope April time we're talking about this, that our guys are playing meaningful games, down the stretch, and we push forward, into something deeper. But our guys are starting to feel, like they belong, like we're here, we're not going anywhere. And to me, that's the most important thing right now.
Thanks.
Danny Thompson.
Coach Danny Thompson with the three-point conversion. The last two games the team has held opponents to under 25 points in the opening quarter. As the team goes on arguably probably the toughest road trip of the season, how important is it not only to win this game tonight, but to set a defensive tone early in this game as you guys head for the road on Wednesday?
Yeah, it's the number one priority for us right now. First quarter defense is the priority. Set the tone with our defense. Our offense will follow our defense, but we've got to get stops. And you nailed it. I mean, that was the goal starting the Toronto game. It's the goal tonight. Let's lock in 25 or less, get out, run, play with pace. It really ignites our defense. It ignites our offense and sets the tone for the rest of the evening.
Rodman.
Hey, JB, with Devonte coming off the bench now, what are you just seeing for him role-wise? How would you break down his role, what you envision for him? And secondly, how do you think that he, helps the second unit? He started so many games in his career last, year plus.
Yeah, not much different than what he did for us as a starter. It's really the same mentality for him. He's a steadying force out there for us. He gets us in offense. He communicates. He's a leader. He can play make, and he can shot make. Whether he's a starter or he's coming off the bench, he might be running with a different group there in the second unit. And I expect him to run that unit, make sure, the offense is running smoothly. And he and I are communicating throughout that process. But I want him coming in aggressive. I think at times as a starter, you kind of set the table for everybody, and, that's important. But, coming off the bench, I want him to be a hired gun here, that he's ready to, knock it down and, play with pace. But also he has that calming presence no matter if he's playing with the first unit, the second unit. Tay is Tay, and he's going to do what he does to help this team, no matter when he's playing.
And then how do you try to also find enough time for different lineups with him and Melo and Terry? Like, how do you, as a coach, do you try to figure out at what point you want to go those three-guard lineups a little bit more, I guess?
Yeah, we have that in the arsenal. Obviously, we have that in the package, and we can go to it. Most times in the second half, we've played a little bit bigger now with Gordon and Cody Martin in the rotation, which limits that that lineup. But if we have to go to that lineup, it's a good lineup for us. We'll go to it, and I think you could see that more as we go. It's just going to be a gut feel throughout the game. If we feel like we have to go to that, but in general, we're playing that 9-10 man rotation right now. We're going to try to keep our legs fresh, kind of ease Tay back into this. We still want to watch his minutes as he eases back into this. I don't want to, jump the gun and start throwing too many minutes out there. So because of that, we'll play more of a 10-man rotation right now until we get our legs back.
Thank you.
Last question, we'll go to Filippo. Filippo?
Yes. Hello, Coach. Every player on the team right now is developing very fast during this season. So I was wondering, do you feel it challenging to grow as an head coach at the same pace?
Yeah, I'm developing just like them. I want to get better, and that's my mentality every year from the first day I took this job to today. I want to grow and get better every single day. And this group really inspires me to do that. This group is not stagnant. They're coachable. They want to get better. And I want to keep up. I want to grow with them. I want to get better with them. If we're going to take the next step forward, all of us got to be getting better. And I think that's the culture of our program is development. At the core of who we are as Hornets, it's development. Everybody pushing to get better. All 15, 16 guys on the roster, including staff, Everybody in this program, it's our job to get better and develop. And that's what we do. We push each other. Our staff pushes me. I push our staff. I push our players. And through that, we all collectively develop internally.